So, Sparking Zero has finally released and all the hype is finally here. And I know everybody's hopped in, we've been having fun, and I want to welcome y'all to the channel for the first actual guide to help y'all out and trying to get better in this game. I'm not going to act like I'm the expert, but I do think these tips that I'm going to be giving y'all today will really make you drastically separate yourself from people that are just picking the game up and just smashing buttons. It will allow you to get these easy matches that you shouldn't be losing, man. But today's anime question is going to be, what is your favorite map in Sparking Zero, man? Let me know in the comments what map are you feeling the most, and just so you think you might be interested in, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell, do all those nice things. And if you want to see more anime game content, make sure to join the Discord pinned in the description. But let's go ahead and hop straight into this video. Alright, man, so basically we're just going to be giving you 6 tips that's going to help you get a lot better at Sparking Zero. The first one is going to be rush high-speed movement. This is actually something you can learn in tutorials, and this basically just allows you to actually do an instant transmission or a teleportation to the left or to the right or even behind your opponent. This is just very good for just mixing things up and just adding a little bit of versatility into your combos, especially when you're playing somebody that's just blocking and you can't seem to get through their guard. If you don't know, depending on the angle you're hitting somebody from, their guard is actually not going to be able to work. You can actually nullify that. So if you teleport behind them or to the right of them while they're guarding in the front, you're actually going to be able to break through that guard. So this is a good thing to use, especially on beginner players that are just sitting there holding the guard button. This is very much going to allow you to get through that and just do some mix-up and see if it's going to work on people that's been playing the game a little bit longer. But keep in mind that people also can vanish you back whenever you do this, so you might want to be prepared to actually go back and forth with them to try to win this. The second tip is going to be lift strike to set up your super strikes and also your blast. This is something that really helped me out because I was having trouble actually getting my super strikes to actually get off, and I think just a simple combo of just going into your lift strike will allow you to very much be able to pair these things up, especially once you start knocking your opponent's health down and it starts becoming a little bit harder for them to recover. They're not going to be able to get out of that recovery animation as fast, and it's going to allow you to very much hit these attacks and get off these key blasts, which gets some easy damage, man. And you just want to experiment with these things and find ways to extend your combos and even end them off with these lift strikes, because it's just going to allow you to get a lot of damage off and pair these into some good moves. The next tip is going to be key blasts between combos and also after getting distance. Key blasts are very powerful in this game with the sense that they can keep people off you, and this is also pretty good for countering perception. If you don't know what perception is, it's basically a mechanic where if you hit them while they're in this state, they're going to automatically counter you, which is going to leave you open. But a way that you can actually get against this is just shooting off some key blasts. They're actually not going to be able to counter this, and then you can come in and start your combo. Key blasts are just very good for keeping people off of you and also just mixing things up, especially if they're just trying to rush after you. The next thing is going to be dodging over blocking blasts, especially depending on what type of blast it is. You're not just going to want to block all the time. While it is the easiest thing to do, you're going to be better off trying to dodge and get around, because some of these moves actually have your opponent in a long animation where it leaves them very vulnerable, where you can even pop off one of your ultimates or you can hit them with your own blast. So I definitely try to learn how to dodge some of these moves and learn how to move around, and also using a dragon burst to the left or the right is very good for getting out of the way of certain ultimates that cover a wide range. The fifth tip is going to be using perception yourself, especially for overly aggressive players. If you don't know how to use perception, depending on what your controls are, it's basically the circle button, or depending on if you're using the classic controls, it might be the triangle and circle. And this basically just allows you to automatically counter a strike and it leaves your opponent open. But keep in mind that they can block right after this, or they could hit you with a perception of their own, and that's why I say this is where the key blasts come into play, where if you hit them with this, you can open them up and start your own combo. And this is just very good for anticipating whenever your opponent is just going to start mashing. A way that I actually like to do this, when I feel like somebody's going to start mashing on me, I block for a little bit and let them get their combo string out the way on my guard, and then I'll actually press the perception button to get them with this and start my combos. Using perception is very good for getting some things, especially if your opponent is predictable and they're using the same moves on you. And the last tip is going to be not letting your opponents charge to full power. You do not want them to get into sparking mode, because this is going to allow them to get some extremely long combos and also pop off your ultimate, and you especially don't want to deal with this when you're going up against somebody like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. So one thing I would like to do is always keep the pressure on your opponents. Now, of course, this thing can change depending on who you're fighting, but for my rule of thumb, I try to not let my opponents just charge in front of me. Don't just let them charge and get to their sparking mode. Shoot your key blast, do whatever you can to prevent them from actually being able to charge and get their meter up, because you don't want to deal with certain characters whenever they're at full power. But let me know if some of these tips that I gave you actually help you out in some of these ranked matches. Like I said, these are things that help me. Now, these aren't just the most expert and just the things that are just going to make you #1 in Sparking Zero, but these are some nice beginner tips that'll help you getting a little bit better in the game, especially if you're going to be hopping into rank mode. And this will allow you to actually beat some of the players that don't really use some of these mechanics. But let me know if this is useful to you, man. We might do some more guides over certain things that we actually can find in the game, man. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn the bell, do all those nice things. Let me know which which map is your favorite in the game, and I'm gonna see you on the next video, man. Yeah.